We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2123. Today, Jill and I are talking about the pros and cons of buying land in rural versus urban areas, way out in the sticks or in the city. This is a good topic. I don't think we've covered it in a really long time, probably not this concisely ever.
This is part of our weekly theme, which is helpful land acquisition rules we didn't realize we lived by. And it's just kind of funny. It is true. I didn't even realize that. There's times that we're going to do info lot mailers, and there's times we're going to do our normal, rural land mailers. And it's usually, here's a thought, data driven.
I mean, there are some serious hardcore, write it down on a yellow piece of paper, pros and cons, and I'll go through them at an appropriate time here. The topic's really cut and dry, and I got to figure out right now how to somehow work in marital relations.
No, we don't need to do that.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request.
Okay. Jesh wrote, I'm looking for a funding partner to fund this deal at a 70-30 split in my favor, or best offer. All right. So we have 16 and a half acres in Blank County, Texas, under contract for $38,000. Our local agent suggests listing it between $92,000 and $109,000.
Classic Land Academy deal.
Love it. Interestingly, the county appraised value is $80,000. That's just for tax purposes, so take that with a grain of salt. That's irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah. They owe $1,000 in back taxes.
Excellent.
So I'm going to have to pay that in closing.
That's a good sign.
Active listings in this county have an average days on market of 169 days. Sold comps have an average days on market of 155 days, with 80% of them of listing price sale through rate.
I love your statistical presentation here. I love it.
Our agent advises, okay, if we want to sell it in 90 days, let's list it for $85,000. So here's a picture of it. Feel free to text me or call me with any questions. This is great.
I put this in here because this was in Discord. If you the public version of Discord, you can't see this.
Yeah.
These are very common deals that go on within Land Academy, where the funder and the manager here win. Mm-hmm. This deal is got almost $100,000, $60,000-$70,000 spread in it. Should take 90 days to convert all that to make $60,000 or $70,000. Split it with a funder. Everybody's off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Or hang out longer for more money. So this is a good thing. Did it get funded? Could you tell?
I couldn't tell. I don't know.
Not yet.
Yeah, there's always DM me. What ends up happening is people see this in other people in our group, and then they connect.
Now they're calling, and texting, and I'll do the deal.
Yeah, okay. Especially he left his phone number in here, so he probably got 100 people calling
That's
him.
Good.
Today's topic: the pros and cons of buying land in rural versus urban areas. This is the meat of the show, as I used to say. You've got, we've all driven down the street, and there's building, house, vacant land, house. That's an infill lot. It's properties that are already in an urban area. They just haven't been developed yet, or they're being redeveloped. So those are very attractive. And here's a pro for urban land buying. You know what's going to happen. And to a huge degree, you know who's probably a logical buyer. If there is a strip mall on one side and a gas station on the other side, and this thing is zoned for single use retail, like a 99-cent store or any of that, you can very quickly, inside of an hour or two, make a tiny little database. Jill and I have done this, of the 10 logical people in that county or the part of the state that own 99-cent stores and want to develop them, or own fast food franchises. And I put together little databases of 20 people. Jill's gotten on the phone and we sell it. So a huge pro about urban land is you can piece it together like that and find out who's going to buy it and sell it. And so you can negotiate a deal with the seller because they're responding to your mailer really appropriately. With houses, it's even better. If it's already in a subdivision, not a master plan subdivision, but a regular subdivision, it's a vacant lot. The person who's going to buy that property is someone who builds houses in the area. You can get that person's name from the county because they pull construction permits on the houses that they're building. A con of urban land is you have a real specific buyer most of the time. And if the economy's not good, and it's not that good right now, then nobody's really buying info lots to build houses. It's not economically viable material. There's no innate demand for that type of housing.
Think about office buildings too, stuff like that. There's a lot of vacancies in certain product types in real estate. So that would be a con. If it's zoned exactly, if it's for office building, and there's 6 around there that are all vacant right now, no one's going to build a new one. We don't want that one.
Well, here's the good news. It's data driven. So like Jill said earlier, good, I'm not buying it then.
Right.
So I just saved myself, that came back in the mail. I looked at it, everything's vacant, pass.
You probably wouldn't have even mailed it.
Correct.
That's the whole thing. I go back to this, like at the very beginning of the process, Jack is trolling. Those of you in Land Academy know what I'm talking about. Looking around areas, looking for what he wanted, what we want to buy, and really where people are things are happening. And the data is telling us, oh, look at all this. Everybody seems to be buying a lot of this in this area right now. Look what's active. Look at how quick they're short the days on market are. Wow, look how much is closed versus available. That's almost 2 to 1. Holy moly. That's where we're sending mail and that's what we're buying. So it really starts there. And that's what drives us. And maybe it is in an urban area. Remember right during COVID? Heck, it felt like the planet was moving to Tennessee and buying a house. So that would have been a thing. Not right now. Things have changed and now it's somewhere else kind of thing. And maybe now it's more rural. That's happening too. Look at all the people that are like getting the heck out of the cities like San Francisco and other things like that. So maybe I don't want to buy that urban thing.
Look, in its simplest,
data told me.
And it's just exactly right. It's in its simplest form. If there's a lot of success around your target property, you're going to be successful. If there's not, you won't. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really cheap property in the southeastern part of the country because there's just a lot of blight and it's the prices just don't make sense. That's all really good news. Sounds like I'm saying something negative. The fact is, I took all the mystery and the risk out of this land acquisition because I can see everything that's happening around it. I either want to buy it or I don't. So it's really easy to value and then go buy or not buy.
Right.
I get just as excited. This is an old man thing. Just as excited when I find an area not to send mail as I do when I find one. Now, I didn't waste all that time. I didn't waste Jill's time and her staff answering the phone. My time finishing the mailer. Zip code X doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's look at zip code Y. Maybe. Zip code Z. Hell yes, that works. All right, I'm going to spend some time on it because now I'm reducing risk.
I do think some people are a little afraid though, because I think urban, yes, rural, no, because, well, if it's urban, I know all the utilities are there at the lot line. True. I can see an argument for people being cautious there. But remember, you have us. And you can look at adjacent when you're out there and see what's possible. And I'll tell you right now too, do some recon on this. Spend some time looking at all the amazing solutions for people living off the grid. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing, but I can see it as a concern. I've heard it as a concern.
Rural land, here's the pros and cons of rural land. The pro is the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Jill and I have hit over our span of career, a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
Buy for 30, sell for 450,000, 800,000, because it's property that a seller ended up with somehow, and they just don't care. They don't know what it's. They're not in the land business. They're not in the real estate business. A lot of times we buy property just because it's a lot of acreage and it's cheap. We don't know what we're doing. It ends up being worth a lot of money.
Yeah, on accident.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. Sometimes
on
accident.
Rural property, just by its very nature, there's a lot less rules, if any. There are some counties have no zoning at all whatsoever, and they have no building apartment. Mm-hmm. You want to build a roller coaster, knock yourself out. Mm-hmm. You want to build a chicken coop, go for it. and on and on and on. A small apartment building, these things happen all the time. So rural land is a huge, massive opportunity. It's the Wild West.
True.
But there's a little bit more risk. What's the answer? Do both.
Love it.
And at some point, you're going to decide. And so what Jill just said, I did a lot of these deals both ways. I really like infill lots in Dallas. So that's all I'm going to do. And then right off into the sunset, making a bunch of dough.
Love it.
Join us next week for a few more interesting episodes. Hopefully you are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.